Rain hammered the cracked pavement as Maya Turner sprinted across the gas station lot, her bag slamming against her hip and her breath ripping out in sharp bursts. She didn't think. She just ran. The sound she'd heard wasn't normal, wasn't distant, wasn't something she could pretend wasn't happening. It was the unmistakable gut-level thud of a body hitting the ground hard. She skidded past Pump Turn 3 just in time to see a huge figure collapse beside a black motorcycle, his helmet rolling away and tapping against the concrete. People backed up instantly. A woman gasped. A teenager recorded on his phone. A man muttered, "Ain't no way I'm getting involved with that." Someone else yelled that the biker looked dangerous, that his crew was trouble, that everyone should just mind their business. Maya didn't care. She was already kneeling beside him. The biker's chest heaved violently, his hand clawing at his shirt as if trying to tear it open. He was enormous, well over 6 feet, bearded, tattooed, leather vest faded with age and wear, and he looked like he could snap a car in half. But right now he looked terrified, vulnerable, human. His eyes darted, unfocused, landing on her for half a second before rolling back with a low groan. "Sir, hey, can you hear me?" Maya pressed her shaking fingers against his neck, weak pulse, too fast. Sweat coated his forehead, and he grimaced like invisible hands were crushing his chest. She heard someone shout again, "Leave him! Those Iron Haven guys don't play around, don't get mixed up." But Maya was already in motion. Her stomach twisted with fear. It wasn't the biker she feared. It was what she knew she had to do. She shoved her hand into her pocket, fingers closing around the last crumpled bills she had. $6.74. She'd counted it at work 3 hours earlier, telling herself it would cover Lena's school breakfast in the morning, just enough for their small routine to not collapse completely. Her chest tightened painfully, but she pushed to her feet anyway. "Hold on," she told the biker, voice trembling. "Don't you dare die." She sprinted toward the convenience store, pushing past the hesitating crowd. Her shoes slipped on the wet concrete, but she grabbed the door handle, shoved it open, and rushed inside. The cashier, a bored teenager with earbuds dangling from his ears, blinked at her as she slapped the small bottle of water and a packet of aspirin onto the counter. "Please ring it up. Now." He scanned them slowly. Too slowly. Every second felt like it scraped at her nerves. "That'll be $6.78. Her heart sank. She only had $6.74. She dug through her bag, hands frantic, searching for a coin. Any coin. A dime, a penny, anything. Her fingers shaking harder the longer she searched. Come on, come on." She felt the pressure inside her chest rising. She could feel the seconds slipping through her fingers. Behind her, through the glass doors, she saw the biker's unmoving form. Her throat tightened painfully. Nothing. Not even a stray nickel. She looked up at the cashier, eyes burning. "Please, please just let me go. He's dying out there." He hesitated, chewing his lip. Then he reached under the counter, took out 4 cents from a tip cup, and slid it toward the register. "Go," he said quietly. She whispered a breathless thank you and flew out the door, pushing through the rain again. When she dropped back to her knees beside the biker, his breaths were shallow, his face ashen. "Stay with me," she whispered as she opened the water bottle with shaking hands and pushed 2 aspirin into his palm. "Just swallow, okay? Help is coming." His fingers were ice cold, but he managed to lift them. Barely. He swallowed the pills, coughing and groaning in pain. As he lay there struggling to breathe, his hand reached weakly toward hers, gripping her wrist with surprising strength for someone on the edge of collapse. His eyes locked onto hers, pleading, panicked, grateful, and for a moment, everything around them fell silent. The approaching sirens cut through the moment. When the paramedics arrived, they rushed in with practiced urgency. One checked his vitals while another prepared the stretcher. "What happened?" one medic asked. Maya answered quickly. He collapsed. Chest pain, sweating. I gave him aspirin about 2 minutes ago. The medic nodded sharply. Good. That might have saved him. Hearing those words felt like someone had pressed a warm hand against her ribs, comforting, steadying her, even as her own hands trembled. The biker forced his eyes open again. He looked straight at her, pupils blown wide with fear and pain. His voice cracked like broken gravel. Tell Bishop. He struggled for breath. Tell Bishop. The woman who saved me. Name's Maya. She swallowed hard, unsure what that meant or why it mattered. The medic pressed an oxygen mask to his face, cutting off whatever else he might have said. They lifted him onto the stretcher and rushed him toward the ambulance. The back doors slammed shut. The sirens wailed. And then he was gone. Rain dripped from her hair and clothes as the crowd slowly dispersed. People whispered. Some stared at her like she was insane. Others avoided looking at her at all. But Maya stayed in the same spot, staring at the empty space where the biker had just been. Her hands finally stopped shaking, but the weight in her chest intensified. She pulled out her wallet and looked at the empty slot where her last bills used to be. She thought of Lena's breakfast, the way her daughter smiled when Maya made things feel okay, even when nothing was okay. She thought of the note the school had sent home last week about overdue activity fees. She thought of the broken heater in their apartment, the overdue rent, the late fees piling up. She thought of the second job she had to leave early tonight because the bus ran late. She should have been panicking, breaking down, cursing the world. But instead, she let out a shaky breath and whispered to herself, Lena's going to eat. I'll figure something out. I always do. The storm eased as she walked toward her old, dented car. When she opened the door, she paused, letting the quiet settle into her bones. Her fingers tapped her steering wheel nervously. Do good things ever come back around? Or did kindness just drain what little she had left? Her phone buzzed. It was Lena's babysitter. She's asleep. Everything fine? Maya forced a smile even though no one could see it. Yeah, everything's fine. She started the engine and drove home, her mind replaying the biker's last words. Tell Bishop. Maya saved me. She didn't know who Bishop was. She didn't want to know. The last thing she needed was attention from a biker gang, or brotherhood, or whatever they were. All she wanted was silence, a warm shower, a few hours of sleep before waking up and figuring out how to break the news to her daughter that there might not be breakfast money. The next morning, after braiding Lena's hair and walking her to school, Maya returned home to change for her shift at the grocery store. Her uniform was still damp from last night's rain, but she didn't have time to dry it. She stepped outside and froze. The sound reached her before the sight did. Deep, thunderous rumbling, not one motorcycle, not two. Dozens. Her heart punched up into her throat as a long line of roaring bikes turned down her street. Black bikes, chrome bikes, patched jackets glimmering in the morning sun. Iron Haven Brotherhood. Her knees weakened. They parked in a perfect line directly in front of her apartment building. Every engine shut off in unison, leaving a heavy silence in the air. Neighbors peeked through blinds. Someone upstairs yelled that they were calling the police. A kid shouted, "Whoa! They look awesome!" before his mother yanked him inside. Maya couldn't move. The leader stepped off a matte black bike at the front of the line, a tall, sharply built older man with silver streaks in his beard and calm, steady eyes. The patch on his vest read, Bishop Hale, President. Oh no. He removed his helmet, looked directly at her, and nodded once. Maya Turner? Her mouth went dry. Yes. He approached with slow, deliberate steps. Not threatening, just focused, intentional. I'm Bishop Hale, he said. My brother Rocco, most call him Bear, told me you saved his life last night. Maya instinctively stepped back. I just did what anyone would do. No, Bishop said softly. Most people didn't. Her pulse pounded hard enough that she could feel it behind her eyes. The other bikers watched her with quiet respect. Not a single one moving. Bishop reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope. Bear wanted to thank you personally, but he's still in the hospital recovering, so I'm here to honor his request. She stared at the envelope like it was a snake. I don't want... I didn't... I'm not asking for anything. This isn't charity, Bishop said gently. This is gratitude. Maya shook her head. Please, He held the envelope out anyway. Inside were $2,500. Her chest seized. Her breath hitched. Her knees nearly buckled. She tried to hand it back, but Bishop closed her fingers around it. Bear said those few dollars you spent kept him alive long enough for us to get there. He said to tell you, that woman gave me more time in this world than I deserved. Emotion rose in her throat like a tide she couldn't fight. She didn't know what to say. She didn't know how to breathe. And then Bishop said something that made her stomach twist with disbelief. He also said that if you ever need anything in this life, anything at all, you call us. You're family now. Maya's voice barely escaped her lips. I don't know what that means. It means you're not alone anymore. Before she could respond, the thunder of engines filled the air again as the entire line of bikers started their bikes, one by one, roaring to life like a wave of power. They rode off just as they arrived, controlled, calm, intimidating to everyone except the woman they had come for. Maya stood frozen long after the last bike turned the corner. Her phone buzzed again, snapping her out of it. A text flashed across the screen. Don't forget to subscribe if you're still watching. Leave a like, so more people can join the family. Maya blinked, confused for a moment, then laughed under her breath as she realized Lena must have grabbed her phone earlier to watch videos and schedule another one of her cat reminders. She wiped her eyes, not sure whether to laugh or cry, and whispered to herself, "What did I just get myself into?" And for the first time in a very long time, she wasn't sure if the fear in her stomach was a warning or the beginning of hope. The rest of the morning moved in a blur for Maya, but her mind didn't settle. Not at work. Not during the walk to the bus stop. Not even as she stocked shelves in aisle 5, where everything smelled faintly like cardboard and lemon cleaner. She tried to focus, tried to pretend that nothing had happened, but her hands trembled each time she touched something. Her manager noticed. You okay today, Turner? She forced a nod. Just a long night. He didn't push, but his eyes lingered a second too long. He'd seen her tired before. She was always tired, but this was different. This was the kind of tired that lived deep in the bones, the kind that grew from fear and uncertainty. Her phone buzzed in her apron. She almost didn't check it, assuming it was another bill reminder or a missed call from the school. But when she glanced at the screen, her blood froze. Unknown number. This Bishop. Need to speak later. Nothing wrong. Just important. She swallowed. Important? Her heart raced, but she typed back a quick acknowledgement and slid the phone away. The last thing she needed was more surprises. She had enough of those to last her a lifetime. By the time she clocked out, her nerves were stretched thin. She picked up Lena from school, watching her daughter bounce toward her with her usual bright grin. That alone eased some of the pressure around Maya's heart. Lena slipped her small hand into hers as they walked home. You look worried? Lena said as she swung their joined hands playfully. Did something happen? Maya hesitated. She wasn't about to tell her daughter about the biker invasion of their neighborhood. Mommy just had a busy day, that's all. Lena squinted at her, unconvinced, but nodded. Kids were smart, but also forgiving. Maya wished adulthood still worked that way. When they reached the apartment building, she spotted Denise, their neighbor, standing on the stairwell with her arms folded tight against her chest. There she is, Denise said, her expression somewhere between worried and furious. Girl, what on earth did you do? Maya blinked. Excuse me? Don't excuse me, Denise snapped, stepping closer. You had a whole biker army lined up outside this morning like they were filming a movie. Do you know how many calls I got? People asking if we were under attack? And Mrs. Reynolds upstairs thought it was a gang war. Maya rubbed her forehead. It wasn't. Denise, it wasn't like that. Then what was it? Her friend planted her hands on her hips. Because I've known you 10 years and not once have I seen 25 grown men on motorcycles show up for a hello. Lena tugged on Maya's coat. Mommy saved a man last night. Maybe they came for that. Denise's eyes widened. You what? Maya sighed. Let me get her inside, and I'll explain. Once Lena was settled at the dining table with her coloring book, Maya pulled Denise into the hallway and recounted everything. The collapse, the aspirin, the ambulance, the money, the warning not to judge the bikers too quickly. Denise stared at her open-mouthed the entire time. You gave your last few dollars to a stranger? She said finally. A biker? At night? Maya? He needed help, Maya said quietly. And I was there. Denise pressed her lips together. Okay, I hear you. But you can't just trust people like them. I know they said there's some kind of nonprofit or whatever, but you can't just take their word. I'm not taking anything, Maya answered. I didn't ask for money. But you didn't exactly say no either. Maya's voice broke, slightly. Denise, I didn't have a choice. You know things have been hard. Her friend's expression softened. She touched Maya's shoulder gently. I'm not judging you. I'm scared for you. I know, Maya whispered. And I'm scared of them. Silence stretched between them until Lena's voice drifted from inside. Mommy, can I have juice? I should go, Maya said. But thank you for checking. Denise nodded, worry still etched deep in her face. That night, after dinner and homework and putting Lena to bed, Maya finally sat alone on the couch. The envelope of cash lay on the coffee table, almost glowing under the dim lamplight. It felt heavy in a way that wasn't about money at all. Her phone vibrated again. Outside. Just need 2 minutes of your time if you're comfortable. Her breath caught in her throat. She parted the blinds and saw Bishop standing alone by his bike, arms crossed, posture calm. She grabbed her coat and stepped out. The cold air bit at her cheeks as she approached him. You didn't have to come, she said. Bishop nodded once. I did. He regarded her with steady, assessing eyes. Not threatening, not prying, just present. I owe you an apology, he said unexpectedly. Her brows furrowed. For what? For overwhelming your neighborhood, for possibly scaring you. Bear insisted we needed to make sure you understood our gratitude. But in hindsight, we came in too strong. Maya let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Thank you for saying that. Also, Bishop added, I wanted to confirm something Bear said. He said you spent your last few dollars to save him. That true? She swallowed. Yes, but I don't want it to become some story. I'm just a mom trying to keep things together. It wasn't a big... It was, Bishop cut in, voice low but firm. It was enormous. Most people walked away. You didn't. You're the kind of person we'd cross states to help. I don't want trouble, Maya said softly. I can't afford it. You won't get trouble from us. Bishop set his helmet under his arm. But you will get support. Whether you like it or not, you've got an entire brotherhood behind you now. The words struck her deeper than she expected. Why? She whispered. Why me? Because kindness deserves protection in a world where it's rare, Bishop replied simply. Her throat tightened. And because Bear asked me to look after you, he added, and I take promises seriously. She didn't know how to respond. She barely understood how her life had changed so abruptly. Bishop turned to leave, but paused. One more thing. There's an event this weekend at our community outreach center. It's family-friendly. Food, games, music. You and your daughter are welcome. No pressure, just an invitation. Her instinct was to decline, but the word stuck in her throat. I'll think about it, she finally said. Good. He nodded once and climbed onto his bike. And Maya? His voice softened. You did a brave thing. Don't let anyone make you regret it. Her eyes stung. She didn't trust herself to speak, so she just nodded. He rode off slowly, respectfully, not revving the engine until he was clear of the neighborhood. The quiet afterward felt strange. Too still, too heavy. When she returned inside, Maya locked the door and leaned against it, letting herself breathe. She knew things were shifting. The world felt different now. Not necessarily safer, but different. She glanced toward the hallway where Lena slept. Maybe change wasn't always something to fear. She went to bed late, sleep snatching her in brief, uneven bursts, her dreams filled with engines, storms, and the weight of unexpected kindness. The days that followed were steady, almost deceptively normal. Work, school, bills, laundry, the constant grinding routine of survival. But something had shifted in her. A small flame of possibility flickered beneath everything she did. 3 days after Bishop's visit, everything shattered again. It started with her car. She climbed inside to head to work, turned the key, and heard nothing but a sickening click, click, click. No, 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 she whispered, trying again. Dead. The sinking dread hit instantly. She didn't have money for a tow, or a mechanic, or even an Uber. She couldn't be late again. Not after last time. Her manager had warned her once more, and she was one strike away from losing the only stable income she had. Her hands trembled as she popped the hood and stared into the maze of cold metal. She didn't know what she was looking for. She didn't know how to fix anything. All she knew was that she was about to lose control of her life if she didn't move fast. Okay, she whispered. Okay, calm down, think. But thinking wasn't helping. The familiar panic clawed up her spine and her eyes blurred with tears. Her phone buzzed. She stared at the screen. Bishop Hale. Everything all right? Her breath stalled. It was too much of a coincidence. Or maybe this was what he meant when he said she wasn't alone anymore. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She hated asking, hated needing help. But she was out of options. My car won't start. I can't get to work. I don't know what to. She didn't even finish typing before Bishop replied. Send me your address again. On my way. Her heart raced. She typed. Please don't bring the whole group. Just me and one mechanic, Bishop replied. 10 minutes. And true to his word, 10 minutes later she heard the sound of 2 bikes pulling into the parking lot. Her stomach knotted. This was the moment things would truly begin spiraling in a direction she could no longer predict. The moment her life would change again. She stepped outside just as Bishop and another biker, tall, wiry, covered in grease stains, pulled off their helmets. The mechanic stretched his arms. Engine trouble? Don't worry. I fixed these in my sleep. Maya opened her mouth to protest, to apologize, to say something, anything. But Bishop's steady gaze stopped her. Let us help, he said softly. And for the first time, she nodded without fighting it. Maya stepped back as Bishop and the mechanic, who introduced himself simply as Switch, leaned over the engine. Switch's movements were quick and sure, his gloved hands navigating the tangle of wires as if he'd built the car himself. Bishop stood beside him, arms folded, watching her more than the engine. You didn't have to come this fast, Maya said quietly, hugging her arms. I wasn't expecting. You reached out, Bishop said. That's enough. Switch grunted from under the hood. Batteries gone, dead as last year's Christmas lights. Probably been dying a while. Maya's stomach dropped. A new battery. I can't afford that right now. Switch looked at her like the idea of payment offended him. You think we're charging you? He barked a laugh. Relax. This is easy. Before she could argue, he went to the second bike, opened a saddlebag, and pulled out a brand new car battery like it was nothing. Maya stared. Why do you just carry that around? In case someone needs one, Switch said, shrugging. And today, someone does. She didn't know what to do with that. She felt small and overwhelmed and grateful all at once. Bishop stepped closer, lowering his voice. What really happened this morning? You looked panicked. She swallowed. I can't miss work again. I'm one strike away from losing my job. Bishop nodded slowly. And that would break things for you. It would crush everything, she whispered. Rent, food, just everything. He didn't offer pity. He didn't say sorry. He just listened. Really listened. And somehow that made her chest tighten more than sympathy ever could. Switch snapped the last bolt in place and clapped his hands. Try it now. Maya slid into the car, turned the key, and the engine roared to life. Relief washed over her so fast her eyes burned. She leaned her forehead against the steering wheel. Thank you, she breathed. I don't know how to repay you. You already did, Switch said, waving her off. You saved our brother. This is nothing. Bishop handed her a small card. Not a business card. Something sturdier. Matte black with a crimson emblem of a wings and gear design. If anything happens, he said, call this number. It's direct to me. Her fingers tightened around it. I don't want to be a burden. You're not, Bishop said. You're someone who helped us. We help back. Switch mounted his bike again. Boss, we're going to be late for the meeting. Go ahead, Bishop said without taking his eyes off Maya. I'll follow. Switch sped off, leaving the air vibrating for a moment before settling again. Maya stood near the car, unsure what to say. I didn't expect you to take any of this seriously. Everything you said matters, Bishop replied. You just don't know your own value. She looked away. Compliments didn't sit well with her. They always felt unearned. What time's your shift? He asked. 10 minutes, she admitted. I'll barely make it. I'll escort you, Bishop said. Drivers get weird when they see a bike. They'll give you space. She almost said no, but the thought of being late again terrified her. Okay, she said softly. The ride to her job was surreal. Bishop followed close, never intruding, simply a shield on two wheels. Drivers did move out of the way. Some even slowed down when they saw him. By the time she parked, she was 7 minutes early, the first time in weeks. Bishop parked beside her and removed his helmet. You good now? Better, she admitted. Thank you. He nodded and started his bike. But before he left, he added, Don't forget about the event this weekend. You and your girls should come. She considered brushing it off, but instead she found herself saying, I'll think about it. You do that, he said, then rode off, leaving her staring after him. Work went smoother than usual, her tension replaced by a strange, lingering warmth she didn't expect. People kept asking why she was smiling. She didn't even realize she was. But by the time she got home, the warmth had evaporated. Lena was upset. More than upset. She sat cross-legged on the couch with her arms crossed and tears gathered under her eyes. Baby, what's wrong? Maya rushed over. Lena glanced at the kitchen table. A pink paper sat there with a circle and a frowning face. A detention slip. No, Maya whispered. Lena, what happened? She pushed a boy, Denise said from the doorway. She'd been watching her until Maya got home. Hard enough he fell. Maya looked between them, stunned. Why would you do that? Lena sniffed. He said you were hanging out with scary people. He said those bikers were gonna hurt us. He said you were stupid for helping that man. Maya's breath cracked. She knelt in front of her daughter. Sweetheart, listen to me. What you did was wrong. You can't hurt people. But... Her throat tightened. You were trying to defend me? Lena nodded fiercely. Nobody talks bad about you. Emotion surged through her so strong she almost doubled over. She hugged her daughter tight. You're brave. But we solve problems with words. Not pushing, okay? Lena nodded into her shoulder. Denise sighed. People talk, Maya. Kids repeat it. This is going to follow you for a while. No, Maya whispered. That night, after putting Lena to bed again, Maya sat on the couch staring at Bishop's card on the coffee table. She shouldn't call him. She shouldn't involve him. This was her problem. But the world didn't care about should. She picked up her phone, hesitated, then called the number. Bishop answered on the first ring. Maya? Her voice trembled. I don't know what to do. He was silent for half a second, then, I'm coming over. No, it's late. Doesn't matter. Bishop, I'm already on my way. She didn't know why she let him. She only knew she needed someone to tell her she wasn't losing her mind. When he arrived, he stood outside the door waiting for her to open it, respectful as always. He stepped inside quietly, scanning the place before focusing on her. What happened? She told him everything. Lena's detention, the rumors, the insults, the fear in her daughter's voice. She tried not to cry, but her voice shook the entire time. When she finished, Bishop exhaled hard, anger simmering under the surface. You shouldn't have to deal with that, he said. But I am. She wiped her eyes. And I don't know how to fix it. Bishop leaned forward. I can't stop people from talking, but I can help you and your daughter feel safer. How? She whispered. Let me show you. She stared at him, unsure what he meant. You two should come this weekend, he said. Not for the games or food, but so you can see who we actually are, so you know you're not tied to criminals or monsters. Her chest tightened. What if people see us there? Who cares? Bishop said gently. Your daughter thinks you're a hero. That's what matters. Maya closed her eyes. She didn't know why, but that broke her. I'm so tired, she whispered. I'm tired of always being scared, tired of feeling small. He didn't touch her, didn't move closer. But his voice softened to something warm and grounding. You're not small, he said. You just forgot your own strength. And people like that boy's parents, they only talk because they've never had to fight for anything. She opened her eyes again, tears sliding down silently. Bishop stood. Come outside. What? Why? Just trust me. She followed him reluctantly. He led her downstairs where his bike was parked under the streetlight. But next to it was something else. A second motorcycle. Black. Sleek. Smaller. Built for a passenger. What is this? She asked. A ride for you. Only tonight. To clear your head. She froze. I can't. You can, he said. You need a break from all this. Just 5 minutes. You don't even have to go far. Her heart raced. It's safe, Bishop added. I promise. And I don't break promises. She stepped back. What about Lena? She's asleep. You'll be back before she even rolls over. Every logical part of her said no, but the part of her that couldn't breathe whispered yes. Okay, she said quietly. Bishop handed her a helmet. Hop on. She climbed onto the back of the bike, her hands shaking. Bishop swung in front of her, and when he said, Hold on, she obeyed. The engine growled beneath her, vibrating up through her legs, her chest, her spine. And when he pulled onto the road, wind rushing past her, streetlights streaking overhead, Maya felt something loosen inside her, something that had been locked tight for years. Fear fell away. Worry fell away. For the first time in a long time, she felt alive. Bishop slowed after a few minutes, bringing them to a quiet overlook on a hill just outside town. He parked and cut the engine. Silence wrapped around them. She climbed off the bike, breathless. "That was freedom?" he asked. She nodded. "Good," he said. "You needed that." She suddenly felt exposed, like he could see straight through her. "Why are you helping me?" she whispered. Bishop didn't answer right away. He walked a few steps, looking out over the city lights below them. Finally, he turned back. "Because you did something for Bear that most people wouldn't do. And because someone like you shouldn't feel alone." Her breath hitched. "What do you mean, someone like me?" "Someone who puts everyone else first. Someone who fights quietly. Someone who deserves more than scraps." Her pulse quickened. "And also," Bishop added, stepping closer, "because I want to." The air between them tightened. She didn't move. He didn't touch her. But something shifted. Undeniably, dangerously. She stepped back first. "We should go." Bishop nodded, as if he understood the war inside her. "Yeah, let's get you home." The ride back was quieter but heavier. When he dropped her off, he didn't try to follow her inside. He just waited until she was through the door before he left. That night, Maya slept deeper than she had in months. But her dreams were new. They weren't nightmares. They weren't memories. They were possibilities. Strange, terrifying possibilities where she wasn't just surviving. She was living. But new dreams came with new dangers. And the next day, danger came knocking. Literally. A pounding at the door rattled the entire apartment early in the morning. Maya froze mid-step. Lena looked up from the table with wide eyes. "Mommy?" The knocking came again, harder this time. "Maya Turner, open up." She didn't recognize the voice. Her pulse spiked. She opened the peephole slowly. 3 people stood outside. 2 men in cheap suits. 1 woman with a clipboard. No biker cuts, no leather. But this was worse. Much worse. Child Protective Services. Her blood ran cold. Maya's breath vanished. CPS at her door was the kind of nightmare that didn't wait for tears. It hit like a punch. Sharp and blinding. Her hand trembled on the doorknob as she forced herself to open it. The woman stepped forward with a practiced, neutral smile, the kind that was supposed to seem kind, but never did. "Ms. Maya Turner, my name is Mrs. Hargrove. This is Mr. Willis and Mr. Kent. We've received a report regarding the safety and environment of your child." The hallway spun for a second before snapping back into focus. "A report? About what?" Lena came up behind her and clutched her waist. Maya subtly nudged her back, protective instinct kicking in like a reflex. Mrs. Hargrove tilted her head, feigning sympathy. "I understand this is stressful, but we just need to verify some information." "What information?" Maya repeated, her voice tight. Mr. Willis flipped open a folder. "The report cited concerns about your association with a known outlaw motorcycle group, that your child may be exposed to unsafe individuals, that you may be engaging in reckless behavior." Maya's mouth fell open. "What? That's ridiculous. I'm not. None of that is true." "It also states," Mr. Kent added, "that your child witnessed violent behavior recently and was involved in school altercations that may indicate an unsafe home environment." Maya's heart cracked. "She defended me from a lie. That's all." Mrs. Hargrove cleared her throat. "Could we come inside?" Every instinct screamed no. No, no, no. But refusing would make everything worse. She stepped aside. They entered with cold efficiency, scanning everything. The furniture, the floor, the kitchen counters, as if danger might be hiding under a cereal box. Lena latched onto her leg. Maya knelt down and cupped her cheek. Baby, go sit on the couch, okay? Everything's fine. Lena nodded but didn't look convinced. Mrs. Hargrove approached gently. Lena, can I talk to you for a moment? No, Maya said sharply. Not alone. Ms. Turner. No, she repeated louder. She's 9. She stays with me. The woman exchanged a glance with the men. Very well, she said. We can do it together. Maya kept her hand on Lena's shoulder the entire time as Mrs. Hargrove asked question after question. Had she ever seen her mother with dangerous people? Did she ever feel scared at home? Did she have enough food? Did she feel safe? Lena answered honestly. My mom takes care of me. She works hard. She always makes sure I have what I need. And she only helped a man who was sick. That's all. The CPS workers wrote too much down. Maya hated the way their pens scratched like quiet accusations. After nearly 20 minutes, Mrs. Hargrove finally said, We'd like to inspect her room. Maya forced herself to breathe. Of course. They walked down the small hallway, checking the bedroom, the bathroom, the closets. Everything was clean. Simple. Lived in. Nothing alarming. But Maya knew they weren't looking for mess. They were looking for excuses. When they finished, Mrs. Hargrove gathered her folder. Ms. Turner, at this time, we don't see an immediate cause for intervention. Maya almost collapsed. But, the woman added, and ice froze Maya's spine again. We will keep the file open for review over the next few weeks. There will be follow-up visits. Follow-up? Maya whispered. This is standard. There was nothing standard about any of this. They had already judged her, and she could feel it. Once the system had your name, it didn't forget it. Even if you did nothing wrong. After they left, Maya locked the door, then slid down to the floor. Her whole body shook. Lena crawled into her lap. Mommy, are they going to take me away? The question stabbed her like a blade. No, absolutely not. She hugged her daughter tightly. I won't let anyone take you. Ever. But inside, fear burned like acid. She needed help. Real help. Her hands shook as she picked up her phone and called Bishop. He answered instantly. Maya, everything okay? No, she whispered. CPS was just here. A low rumble came from his chest. I'm on my way. Wait. Bishop? But the line had already gone dead. 15 minutes later, his bike thundered into the lot. Maya met him outside before he could come up, not wanting neighbors to stare. The moment he saw her face, something in him hardened. Who filed the report? I don't know. They tell you anything? They said someone claimed Lena wasn't safe. They brought up you. The Iron Valor. Bishop's jaw flexed. Cowards. Maya wrapped her arms around herself. I can't lose her. You won't, he said firmly. I'll handle this. How? This isn't like fixing a car or escorting me to work. This is CPS. They don't care about my side. He stepped closer. They'll care about the truth. And we'll make sure they see it. We? She whispered. You're not alone in this, he said. Unless you want to be. She looked at him. Truly looked. And the fear that had been suffocating her loosened, just a little. She nodded. He exhaled slowly, relieved. Good, he said. Now tell me everything they asked, everything they said, every detail. She explained everything. Bishop listened with that same laser focus as before. No interruptions, no judgment. When she finished, he said, It's retaliation. For what? For you helping Bear. Someone didn't like it. A neighbor. A parent at school. Someone who already hated us. That made sense. And she hated that it made sense. Tell me who's been giving you trouble, Bishop said. No, she said quickly. You can't go after them. That'll make everything worse. His expression changed. Not anger, but understanding mixed with restraint. I'm not going to threaten anyone, Maya, but I am going to find out who tried to hurt you. She closed her eyes. What do I do now? You focus on your daughter, he said. Let me deal with the rest. Bishop. Yes. I'm scared. He stepped forward and placed a hand softly on her shoulder, not pulling, just grounding her. Fear isn't weakness. It means you care about the right things. A tear slipped down her cheek. He brushed it away with his thumb before she could stop him. You won't lose her, he repeated. Not on my watch. A part of her wanted to lean into him, to let the tension break and let herself collapse. But she stayed strong, even as her breath shook. I'm supposed to go to work, she whispered. But I can't leave her today. Then don't. I'll stay with you both. You don't have to. I want to. There was something in his tone. Quiet, steady, unshakable. Something that made her chest feel too full. She nodded, and they went inside. Lena brightened the moment she saw Bishop. Hi, Mr. Bishop. Hey, little warrior, he said softly. You holding up? She nodded, her curls bouncing. Are those people coming back? Not right now, Bishop said. You're safe. I promise. Lena accepted that with a trust Maya wished she had for herself. The rest of the day crawled by. Bishop stayed, sitting on the couch while Maya tried to focus on small tasks, folding laundry, checking emails, anything to keep from spiraling. He didn't hover, didn't crowd her, didn't try to take over. He was just there. And that mattered more than she expected. By late afternoon, Maya forced herself to call her boss, explaining she needed an emergency day off. She expected anger, maybe even a write-up. Instead, her boss said numbingly, Maya, this is the third emergency this month. Her stomach nodded. I know, I'm trying. We'll talk tomorrow, her boss said, but patience is wearing thin. She hung up feeling like she was drowning. When Bishop saw her face, he stood up immediately. What happened? I might lose my job, she murmured. He exhaled slowly through his nose. Then we'll fix that too. How? She snapped suddenly, emotion spilling over. How are you going to fix every part of my life? How are you going to magically stop CPS from coming? How are you going to stop me from getting fired? How are you going to stop people from judging us? You can't. Maya, he said sharply. She froze, tears running fast down her cheeks. Bishop stepped closer. I can't fix everything, and I can't control the world. But I can help you fight, and you don't have to fight alone. She covered her face with both hands. I'm so tired. I know. I just want peace. And you'll have it, he said softly. One way or another. They stood in silence for a long moment. A fragile, wounded quiet. Then Bishop said, There's something you need to know. Maya lifted her eyes. Iron Valor. We're not just a club, he said. We're a foundation, a nonprofit. We help families in situations like yours. Families in crisis. She blinked. What? We have legal advisors, caseworkers, social workers. We work with shelters, job programs, transitional housing. Bear started it, after he lost someone important. We help people like you all the time. You didn't know because we don't advertise. Maya stared at him, stunned. You're a nonprofit? With a bad reputation, sure, Bishop said, but a good mission. Her breath trembled. You're lying, she whispered. Not because she believed he was, but because it felt too big, too strange, too opposite of what everyone believed. I'm not. His voice was steady. You saved one of our leaders. Now let us help you. She shook her head slowly. This is insane. What's insane? Bishop countered gently. Is you thinking you have to do all this alone? What do you mean, help me? She asked quietly. Help me how? With everything, he said. Whatever you need. Her pulse raced. And before you panic, he added, we don't want anything from you. No strings. No debts. No obligations. But why? She whispered. He looked at her then, really looked, with an expression that made the hair on her arms rise. Because you deserve better, he said, and because you asked for help. She swallowed hard. What happens now? Now, he said, we prepare for Saturday. You and Lena come to our community day. You'll meet families we've helped. Kids. Volunteers. You'll see the truth. And after that? After that, Bishop said, we fix everything else. Fix everything. It sounded impossible. But when Bishop looked at her, it didn't feel impossible. It felt inevitable. But fate rarely waited quietly. And that night, as Bishop left and the apartment settled into uneasy silence, Maya checked her messages one more time. One new text. From an unknown number. It read, you should have stayed away from them. Next time, CPS won't leave without your kid. Maya's blood ran cold. She wasn't imagining it. Someone wanted to destroy her life. And they weren't done. Maya didn't realize she'd fallen asleep until the soft glow of morning light crept across her face and the muffled sounds of the city rose from the street. She blinked, confused for a moment by the unfamiliar ceiling. Then she remembered the garage, the leather couch, the storm of emotions that had swallowed her whole the night before. She sat up slowly, muscles heavy, throat tight. Her mind still replaying the moment she'd learned the truth about Darren. The truth that shattered the fragile hope she'd held onto. She heard movement, soft footsteps, hushed voices. The scent of coffee drifted into the room, warm and grounding. When she walked out, she found Elijah and Rook standing near the workbench. They fell quiet when they saw her, as if they weren't sure if she'd crumble or lash out. Elijah stepped forward cautiously. Morning, he said. I figured you might need this. He handed her a mug. She accepted it with trembling fingers. Thanks. Rook cleared his throat. We wanted to give you space. After last night, we didn't want to crowd you. Maya nodded. She wasn't used to people giving her space without also giving her judgment. I'm okay, she said, though she wasn't sure if she meant it. Elijah's jaw flexed. You're not. And that's fine. Nobody expects you to be. She swallowed hard. Their compassion, steady, quiet, and sincere, made her eyes sting again. She hated being this vulnerable in front of almost strangers, but she couldn't pretend anymore. Can we talk? She asked softly. Elijah nodded and motioned her toward the back, where an unfinished bike frame hung from chains. Whatever you need. She inhaled. Why didn't you tell me about Darren? Rook grimaced. Elijah answered first. Because we knew what it would do to you. We knew you thought he'd come back. And we didn't want to be the ones to break that. Maya pressed her lips together. But I look stupid now. No, Elijah said firmly. You look hopeful. And hope doesn't make you stupid. It makes you strong. Even when it hurts. She exhaled shakily, staring at the floor. I just don't understand how someone could do that. He promised me. He promised we'd face everything together. And the second things got bad, he disappeared. Rook ran a hand over his beard. People reveal themselves in the dark. Some run. Some stay. Some fight. Darren wasn't built to stay. Maya snorted softly. And you are? Rook smirked. Yeah. Much to society's confusion. The joke broke the tension just enough. Maya let out a breath that wasn't quite a laugh, but wasn't despair either. Elijah stepped closer, concern soft in his eyes. You're not alone in this, Maya. Not anymore. It should have comforted her, but instead a new wave of guilt hit her. I shouldn't be relying on you guys. You barely know me. We know enough, Elijah replied. We know you don't give up. We know you'd starve before asking for help. We know you saved my life when you didn't have to. And we know you deserve people who won't disappear on you. Maya bit her lip. The room seemed too quiet, too still. Her chest felt tight again. What happens now? She whispered. What am I supposed to do? Elijah hesitated, then reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. He held it out. This came this morning. It's for you. Maya frowned, confused, and took it. Her name was written in a handwriting she didn't recognize. Inside was a letter, simple, printed, along with a check. A large one. Her breath caught. What is this? Rook leaned against a workbench. Open the letter. Hands trembling, she read, For Maya Brooks, you were nominated by someone whose life you changed. We support single mothers at risk of losing housing, employment, or stability. You've been awarded temporary assistance to get back on your feet. A caseworker will reach out within 48 hours. You are not alone. Keep choosing hope. The Haven Initiative. Maya covered her mouth. This can't be real. It's real, Elijah said quietly. She looked between them. Did you do this? Elijah shook his head. No, but someone did. Rook crossed his arms. Elijah's been checking in with people you helped around the community. Word got around. Someone must have recommended you. Maya felt overwhelmed, shocked, grateful, terrified. She clutched the letter to her chest. Why would anyone do this for me? I haven't done anything that big. Elijah stepped closer. You think small acts don't matter? You think helping strangers doesn't ripple outward? You don't see what you've done, but other people do. Maya couldn't breathe for a moment. Her vision blurred. She wasn't invisible after all. She wasn't forgotten, useless, or lost. Someone had seen her. Someone believed she deserved help. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I don't know what to say. Say you'll keep going, Elijah said. Say you'll stop carrying everything alone. Her voice cracked. I'm trying. That's enough. The garage door opened suddenly, and Leon stepped inside, his jacket unzipped, his face unusually serious. He looked at Maya, then at Elijah and Rook. We've got a problem, he said. Elijah stiffened. What happened? It's the Kings, Leon said. They're back on the west side, and they're asking about her. Maya felt the blood drain from her face. Me? Why would anyone be asking about me? Rook cursed under his breath. Because not everybody liked what happened in the alley that day, and not everybody believes you didn't know more than you said. Elijah stepped in front of her. She's not getting dragged into any of that. Not again. Leon nodded. I know. But they're sniffing around, and if they think she's connected to us, they won't get to her, Elijah snapped. Maya shook her head. Guys, I don't even know who the Kings are. Rook sighed. Local crew. Not the worst, not the best. They don't usually mess with civilians unless they think someone has information they need. I don't, she insisted. Elijah looked at her carefully. That may not matter to them. Maya felt her chest tighten. She had finally started to feel like things were stabilizing, like maybe she had a chance to rebuild. And now this. Are they dangerous? She asked quietly. Leon shrugged. Depends on what they want. Elijah's voice went cold. Doesn't matter. She's under our protection. Rook added, and anyone who wants to get to her has to go through us. Maya stared at them, stunned. They were dead serious. The protectiveness in their voices wasn't bluster or bravado, it was loyalty. Loyalty she didn't feel she'd earned. You don't have to do that, she whispered. Elijah shook his head. You didn't ask for this. It's not your fight, but you're with us now. Those words hit her like a punch. With us. No one had said that to her in a long time, maybe ever. Leon tapped his fingers against his thigh. We need to get ahead of this. Show our faces. Let them know she's off limits. Elijah nodded. Let's handle it. He turned back to Maya. You stay here. Don't go outside alone. Not until we know what we're dealing with. Maya swallowed hard. What if they come here? They won't, Rook said. They're not that stupid. Leon smirked. And if they are? He cracked his knuckles. We'll educate them. Maya sat down slowly, her legs trembling. I don't want you getting in trouble because of me. Elijah crouched in front of her. You're not trouble. You're a person worth protecting. She blinked back tears again. She was so tired of crying, but everything felt too big, too overwhelming. Leon opened the door. We'll be back. Rook followed him out, grabbing his jacket. Elijah paused, his eyes lingering on Maya. You're safe here, he promised softly. No matter what. She nodded, though she wasn't sure she believed it yet. As they left, she hugged her arms tightly around herself. The garage suddenly felt too quiet, too large. Seconds turned to minutes. Minutes to almost an hour. Her mind spiraled with every worst-case scenario she could imagine. She paced. She sat. She stood. She paced again. Then she heard footsteps approaching. Not the heavy strides of Elijah, Rook, or Leon. Light. Quick. Uncertain. Maya froze. A shadow moved along the edge of the door's frosted window. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. Someone knocked. Twice. Slow. Deliberate. Maya backed away. Maya Brooks? A voice called. A man's voice. Calm. Too calm. She didn't answer. Maya, the voice repeated. We need to talk. It's important. She shook her head, backing further into the garage. Before she could hide, the door handle turned. Slowly. Testing. Maya, the voice said again. I know you're in there. Her breath hitched. She grabbed her phone. Her hands were shaking too hard to hit the right contact, but she managed to dial Elijah. He picked up instantly. Talk to me. There's someone outside, she whispered. He's trying to come in. Elijah's voice went sharp. Lock the door. Now. We're 2 minutes away. Maya rushed to the door, locking it with trembling fingers. The man outside spoke again. We just want information, that's all. She pressed her back against the wall. Elijah's voice thundered through the phone. Don't answer him. We're coming. Maya clutched the phone. Please hurry. We're right here. She heard engines roar, tires screech. The man outside stepped back. Then Elijah's voice, not through the phone, but outside, loud and furious, shouted, Move away from the door. Maya froze. Someone slammed against metal. Someone cursed. Someone ran. The garage door shook violently as a body collided with it. Then silence. Then Rook's voice. You good in there, Maya? Her knees buckled with relief. She unlocked the door. Elijah, Rook, and Leon burst inside, breathless and furious. Elijah grabbed her shoulders gently. Are you hurt? She shook her head. No, just scared. You did great, he said. Rook looked at Leon. They're getting bold. Leon nodded grimly. Too bold. Elijah turned to Maya, his expression hardened with resolve. This ends tonight. Maya whispered. What does that mean? Elijah met her eyes. It means we're not running anymore.